Hey guys, this is the video for warm-up D. Just remember, as always start your warm-up with the general warm-up that we do at the start of class, and all of your footwork drills. I showed them in the very first video, so I'm not showing them every time. The first of the solo drills is the Alfred Hutton Molinet. So Hutton was actually an earlier fencing master, but he had an interest in what he called ancient, and by that he meant medieval and Renaissance swordsmanship. So in a way, he's kind of the proto-Hemaist of the world. But he gave us a really nice Molinet pattern in his book that I was using for a very long time as the standard cutting drill to use. And it's a little different than the Meyer for opening sequence that we tend to focus on now, but I still think it's a worthy drill, and getting different patterns of cutting into your body is just a good idea. So it really is just an over, under, right, left kind of a pattern, so it's pretty easy to show. So it's over from the right, over from the left, under from the right, under from the left, middle cut from the right, middle cut from the left. That's the whole thing. And then of course you can do it going backwards as well. So over, under, right, left. And you can of course do that with full cuts, you can do it with half cuts, you can try to have hanging guard transitions in between, but just the over, under, right, left is a good way to go. And the second solo drill in warm-up D is what we kind of jokingly call the Absetzen March. A lot of people struggle with the Absetzen, which is a single time, bear with me, I'm just being very basic right now, it's single time, thrust counter. So in a perfect world, if somebody cuts at me, I'm going to collect their sword along my edge, I'm going to stab them, so it's pretty much a single time motion. The Absetzen March is really just to try to get us comfortable going to both sides and using our body. I see a lot of people kind of lift up to the side without particularly good structure, and then they can't understand why their sword gets blown to the side so often. So just when you're doing this, I would just start and plow. What you want to remember is that you're going to lead with your point. It's point and hips. So I'm going to start this kind of winding action, and I'm going to drive my point, and then the thing should finish with my step. I'm going to retract to the other side. Now I'm going to the cross side. This is the harder one, so make sure you're really driving, leading with the point, driving with the hips, and then settle. And then settle, and then settle. We don't really do this one backwards too much. So the first two solo drills in warm-up D are the Hutton Molinet and the Absetzen March, forward and back. The next two drills, the pair drills in this one, are really tough to do on your own. So the first one is called the ghost drill. If you've seen some of my other videos or you've come to any of my classes, the ghost drill is a favorite of mine. It is just getting used to distance management and reading the body and the positioning, but it's a partner drill. Definitely wear masks. The attacker is going to throw full, very slow motion cuts, any cuts they want, and they're definitely going to use their footwork, so they can do any cut they want. The defender has no sword, and they're just trying to use angles and range to defend themselves. So they're not trying to just run backwards. They're trying to step to the side, and we call it skimming the bubble, because sword swings come in arcs. There's always an arc to the sword swing. And so if you can kind of work the edges where they're not at full extension yet, you can use your range and angles to avoid a swing, and then you can countercut them. So it's a really good way to set things up. Really hard to describe and really hard to do by yourself. I might throw up some other videos that I've done previously on the ghost drill. Luckily, other people have filmed me teaching it and doing it, so that's really nice. The last pair drill, again, if you have a partner, this is a good thing to do. It is the Meyer for opening sequence against a human Pell. And so what we do is, again, one person has a sword, the human Pell has none, they do have a mask though. So at first, they just stand there like a scarecrow, and the person does the 4 sets of 4 cuts. Right. That's phase one. Phase two is your human scarecrow now moves backwards. You're chasing them doing the cuts, and then they walk forward, so you are backing up doing the cuts. And that's just getting you used to adjusting your range as you're doing it. Because Pells are great, but they don't move. So having a human scarecrow who will go forward and backwards forces you to be kind of constantly aware of and adjusting your range as you're drilling your 4 openings. The last version is that the human scarecrow gets to move however they want. So they can walk sideways, they can go forward, they can go back, And again, your job is to chase them or be chased by them, always trying to maintain the right range so that when you are hitting them, touching them with your sword, you're landing with the right part of the sword when you intend to. And it's just a good way to get used to throwing at different ranges and tempos and getting used to maintaining the right way to swing your sword and hitting with the right part of your sword against a moving opponent. So if you have somebody at home that is training with you, or you can just bribe to put on a fencing mask and stand like this and then walk around like this, it's a lot of fun and it's a good drill to practice. This is the end of the 4 warm-up sequence, so we'll be switching gears into something else next week.